the EpicVerse Podcast.
But at the same time, like, where do you draw the line? Because, there's people that are like, oh, you shouldn't, like, play God or whatever, or, take these types of stretches to, I guess, meddle with nature in a way and stuff. But we do it already with, like, organ transplants and all of that type of stuff as well. Like, that isn't a natural process, but we do it because, we're sustaining life in a way or something, so it's like, where exactly do you draw the line? And I think that's a very interesting question to ask, is like, where is that line,
Well, and I think that's a good question. But I also, there's something interesting that it's kind of playing devil's advocate, but also just kind of a side thing. Like, when you look at even people that have the like spiritual people that believe that you can affect the world around you with your will and with your words, with your voice and stuff, like, where's the line there? Because that means you're affecting nature itself with your very, like, essence. Like, people that say put it out in the universe and it'll come back to you. Well, like, that means that you can influence the world around you to do things that bend to your will, or if you get into biblical ideas, like God telling Adam to, like, go out and conquer the earth, and then, like, multiply and like conquer the whole earth. Like, it's supposed to belong to him and, like, be within his, like, grasp of will, or anything like that we read about, like Jesus and his ability to affect miracles says that, like, the world was subject to his word. So if that's the case, then maybe there is less of a line than we think, because the line has to be, like, sometimes we assume that if a scientist comes up with an idea that he's done it in and of himself, but I think the hubris in humanity is to think that anything that we've gotten on our own. Like, I actually got into an argument one time with somebody about, like, the whole self-made man idea, but I'm like, nobody's self-made by themselves. Like, everybody had help to get where they got to. So the idea sometimes that scientists are like, I think it's arrogant of the scientists to go, look what I did. I'm playing God by creating life. I'm like, but you didn't create life. You took the blueprints that you knew might work to create life and created it. But the blueprints were already there for you. You wouldn't even know that if we didn't understand how life worked in general. Because the thing is, like, you can't, like, even if you took, like, a pig embryo and injected human embryos into it and turned it into a pig hybrid, you didn't really create that life. You figured out how to manipulate the cells to do it themselves. Like, so you figured out how the blueprints work together. But, like, if you have two things that are fundamentally, like, don't agree with each other, you can't do anything with them. Like, that's,
exactly.
Yeah. So some of that stuff, I think, if it works, maybe it was designed to work and we just hadn't figured it out yet. And then some things that just don't work, it's because, like, there's no way to, like, maybe there's just no way to make it work, I mean, so that's sometimes where the line is for me. The line to me is, where do you think you being involved in it made it happen? Because, like,
exactly.
Because the other scary part of it is, like we've talked about, nature is scary. Like, we don't even have technology to stop, like, earthquakes. We have things that can help, but we don't have anything that can stop it. So like, if an earth-shattering earthquake comes, like, we couldn't do anything about it. Or, like, tsunamis. We have places that literally know what it's like to live with tsunamis, build things around tsunamis happening, and they still come in and cause mass devastation despite the fact that they know it happens.
Force of nature.
Or what happened in 2020? Like, the whole world stopped for 2 weeks because of a virus. But, like, regardless of the governments and everything and political side of it, the fact is a virus stopped the whole world for, like, 2 weeks. Like, one of the most, you can't even perceive it with the human eye. One of the smallest, most inconceivable things stopped an entire species from doing. And then also to see, like, what we saw with, like, how quickly the reversal of things happened, like how quickly China's, like, air pollution disappeared and how quickly the canals in, like, Italy cleaned out on their own.
People just didn't do anything.
People didn't do anything, and nature was like, that's fine, I can fix it. So then, like, we watch, like, some of these games and stuff, like The Last of Us and stuff, where it's, like, been years and you see these buildings just
nature's reclaiming things.
It's almost like nature really does and has the capability of doing it. And sometimes it's almost like we're the ones that are at odds with nature about what it, like, we're the only ones curbing the nature from destroying us almost, sometimes what it feels like.
Well, exactly. I mean, that's why I think it's such an interesting concept of like humans versus nature, because that really is in a lot of ways what it boils down to and stuff. Because I mean, and it's not just nature, it's I guess a fallen version of nature in a lot of ways as well too. So but it's interesting.
Yeah, because like even something I think is kind of fascinating is like when they create hybrids of animals, like they create like the liger, which is like bigger than a lion or a tiger and has all these interesting characteristics, but like it's completely sterile. So it can't even recreate itself. So it's
right.
Oh, we did this thing, isn't that cool? Yeah. But it can't even recreate itself. So even with that, like there's like limitations on even what we can do.
Exactly.
Nature just decides, no, that's not supposed to be a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.